I went through a different gauntlet of emotions. Now, when we first split, it was uh, it, all the emotions were in it when we first split because everybody's mad at each other. You a son of a bitch, you this and you that, and a lot of emotions were in it. But I would tell you that going through divorce court and speaking with the judge, let me tell you something about these judges, man. Let me tell you something about the state of Missouri. Okay, let me get one thing clear. The state of Missouri don't give a damn what's going on in your life. Like they don't care if you got car payments. They don't care if you got bills. They don't care. And I just could never understand that. But that's another podcast altogether. I want to know, but I will ask this question and maybe somebody can answer for me. Can somebody please tell me how the government or the judges or whoever can assign a child support or a spousal support order based on the gross amount of money you make? Now, we're grown. We're adults. We those of us who are listening, since when do you bring home your gross pay? Like, since when does that happen? That doesn't happen. You bring home your net. So this is after your insurance. This is after insurance. This is after taxes. Cause Uncle Sam come for the po folks first. You know what I mean? So since when, and so I never could understand that. I will say this, divorce court was hard. And I'll tell you why divorce court was hard. It was because my ex-wife really put it on thick in front of the judge. And, and I'm not saying that she wasn't, warranted for her feelings, but I think she put a little extra stank on it in front of the judge. And then she ended her testimony with, I'm not looking for a refuge. I'm just, and so so I felt like at that time, I felt like that she was playing on the judge's emotions. Right. But we're going to get to the gist of all this in a minute. And so I'm sitting in the courtroom looking at the judge like, yo, here's my check stub. This is what I make. She's wanting, X amount of dollars. We're not going to get into all that, but she wanted X amount of dollars. And I'm like, ma'am, I can't afford that, and so I'm telling her, and because I'm the one that's working, my son, with him being special needs, he requires a bit more attention. So I get it, she's his full-time caregiver. I get it. Right. But at the end of the day, I still can't afford what you're asking me, but anyway, neither here nor there. The judge said, screw you. You're going to do this. But she did not give us a judgment that day. It took about 2 weeks to get a final judgment. And the reason why I have to bring this to a close and close this chapter was because when I got my divorce decree, those of us who have been divorced, your divorce decree is the final step. That's it, right? That's when you open the manila envelope and you read the contents of that manila envelope and you go, okay, that's it. And so I got my divorce decree. And for some reason or another, my life changed in that moment, right? Reading, not only what I had to pay in spousal support and child support, but because those things, that's monetary. That doesn't mean anything to me because I work for a living. So it isn't, what got me was after all the bickering and all the fighting and all the name calling and all of that, having it on paper changed the game. I can't point out, I can't figure out why though, but having it on paper just threw me for a loop. And, reading all of the findings and, the finalities and, she went back to her maiden name and, all that. It was tough. Now, the whole time in the beginning, I'm a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a tough guy. I'm like, whatever, feel how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but long if you guys have been listening to me long enough, you guys know I went through an emotional trauma and almost ended it. But, I went through that stage and then I went through, because I did an episode on, I did an episode on the 5 levels of grief or whatever. And I went through it, like the suicide thoughts, and then I got mad. But this is all pre-court. We were filing motions and all that jazz. But then once we went to court, and I saw that, she didn't give me a lick of grace in court. I mean, she did not, And even the week before we got our divorce decree, she was cussing me out and, telling me, yo, you want to pay the minimum, you want to do the minimum, you want to do this and you want to do that. And so when we got a divorce decree, she must have read hers wrong because she texted me, cussing me out. And I don't read a divorce decree. I know what it say. You know what I'm saying? And she read it and she texted me, she cussed me out. I said, you see that? You did? I said, no. You need to go back and read that again. Something, because, hey, get somebody to read it for you, because it was, and I remember, one of the text messages she sent me, she said, looks like you won, you got to do this and that. And I said, are you reading the same decree I'm reading? Because according to the decree I'm reading, you won. But, I tried not to see it in the matter or in the means of who won and who lost. Because at the end of the day, nobody won, at the end of the day. And nobody wins a divorce. Don't let nobody fool you and tell you that they do. There's no winning in divorce. And it was hard. And it's hard on my son and it's hard on me, because, we have our weekend drop offs, and it's tough, going from, being in there, being in his life and seeing him every day full time to being relegated to just seeing him on the weekends, and every other weekend. It's hard. I don't know how any parent, anybody that's listening that has that kind of arrangement to where you see your kids every other weekend or every other Tuesday or however you see it. I don't see how any parent can get used to that. I haven't. And we've been doing this since January. And 6 months in, it's still different. It's like I took him home yesterday. I had him this weekend, and I'll have him next weekend too, because it's Father's Day. But I took him home yesterday, and my ex-wife lives on this long dirt road, and I dropped him off and I left. And I look at my rearview mirror and I see my son chasing the car. And I'm like, oh my God. So my ex-wife, she's texting me and she's like, he's running after you. And I look in the mirror, I had to back up the car and, and take him back home and all that. And it was crazy. And it's times like that where it's hard. When drop-offs are really hard. Sometimes, I can drop him off and he go to his mama and it's good. You know what I mean? But it wasn't as good. But getting back to the story. So got the divorce decree. Read the divorce decree. Instantly got depressed to the point where I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped taking my medication because those of you that don't know, I am a diabetic, full blown. So it's not going to be, there's no, I'll say, I won't say full blown because I'm not taking any kind of insulin or anything like that. But, I'm a diabetic. I'll say that. And so I got to the point where the weekend that I got my divorce decree, I got it on a Saturday. I will forget it. And I read the divorce decree and I said, wow, the judge really screwed me on this one, saying I'm gonna be working for the rest of my life trying to pay, I'm faced with a career change here in a little bit. And it's, and I'll do it if I have to. But anyhow, so I got depressed and I stopped taking my medication. Now for diabetics, when you stop taking your meds, it's bad, right? So I remember the weekend that I got my divorce decree, my roommate and I, Nick, we had just got paid, went to the grocery store, we bought a whole bunch of sodas, and that's kind of what we do or did. So he had his Mountain Dews and I have my Pepsis, and and so this one particular weekend, man, when I tell you I gorged myself on my Pepsis. I mean, I drunk in that one weekend. I know I downed 2 cases in 2 days, just because it was something to do and I was depressed and I'm taking my meds. Here's the problem with that. I had tore my body apart. I didn't even realize what I was doing. And